Now that we have created our legend with a series of lines, it's time to start adding components that we used in our project to really start making it look like a legend. So before we add in our different components, we need to look back at the reflected ceiling plan that would be for our level 11. That is what we are using for this project. So if I go back to my level 11, I'm really just using this time to locate and see what type of lighting fixtures I'm using in this project. Now, this is a past project, so yours may or may not look different. Your ceiling heights may or may not be different. That is okay. But what you should have would be light fixtures and ceiling type of pattern. So for me, I see that I have two different light fixtures. And then in this plan, I have two different ceiling patterns. So one is a 2x2 acoustic ceiling tile, and the other right here, if I can select it, is gypsum wallboard ceiling. So I have two different ceilings and I have two different fixtures. Now I'm going to click on my fixtures just so I can see how they are named. We will have to be able to locate them in our legend, so this helps us know exactly what fixture to place in. So go ahead and either jot them down or just put them in the back of your head to remember what your fixtures are called. So this one is called FlexWorks Rails, okay? And then I'll click on my other one. All right. So now that I have all of that information, I'm going to go back to my reflected ceiling plan legends, double click in there, save the project as always, and now we can start putting in the components in our legend. Now, if you're following along in the book, it does this in a different way. So you may want to follow along with this video, and if you don't really particularly like how it's done in this video, by all means go back and see if you prefer how the book does it. So to add a component, we have to be in our Annotate tab. We will be in our Annotate tab for the remaining time of this lesson. So once you've located your Annotate tab, go ahead and see where it says Components. Now we have to click the drop down component to give us different options. And we should all see that there is a component option that says Legend. Go ahead and click that. And now, if we look in our menu right here, we have all of these different components that we could potentially use to create any type of legend we wanted. For us though, we are focused on just the light fixtures. Those are the only two components we are needing to add in. And so I am going to locate my spoke first by just clicking that. And now if we look at the view, so yours is probably on elevation front or back. And if you try to bring it in, it looks something like this, which looks nothing like the actual light fixture in plan view. So we have to adjust our view to say floor plan. And now if I try to put it in, it looks very realistic to how it actually looks in plan. And then all I do is just click it in place and then escape one time. And that is how you place a component. So I'll do that for the light fixture that is recessed. And make sure that you are grabbing the right one. So I have two different options for this fixtures and two different dimensions. So be sure to grab the right dimension and then just place it. Notice that Revit gives us these nice alignment guides, which are very helpful. So I'm just going to align them up in the center and then place. Now, since this project has been done before, my fixtures might be looking more visible than yours. If you place a fixture and you notice that you're really not seeing the outline of it, let me show you how to fix that. So in order to fix any type of graphic, say none of the line work was showing up, I think this one gives the most issue. So say none of your line work was showing up for any of your light fixtures. You would just go back to your ceiling plan and then edit the family of whichever one is causing problems. So just say edit family, locate the reference level, okay? And then from there, you are going to use a symbolic line, and all I would suggest doing is just either picking a line and going around all of the different line work, and then save that and load that into the project. Overwrite the existing version, and then when you come back, hopefully you have line work on your fixtures. And that is how you add families and symbols. There's a few other things that we need to add though for the legend, and that would be our ceiling material. So I know that I have a 2x2 acoustic ceiling tile and then gypsum wallboard. So I'm going to go back to my annotate tab and just use a series of detail lines to first create a box. And so for me, knowing that my acoustic ceiling tile is 2x2, I need to create a box that is 4 feet wide and 4 feet long. That way, I'm just going to reposition it so that it's centered more. So I've just drawn a simple box. Now that I have that box, before I draw anything in here, I'm just going to copy that down. Now you may have to expand your legend by just moving the line up and down, and that is okay. So now we have a series of boxes right here. And one will have my acoustic ceiling tile and the other will have my gypsum wallboard. Let's add in the ceiling tile first. So I'm going to go back to my annotate tab and hit detail line. And just using a series of thin lines, I am just going to split this right in half like so. And now I have a pattern that reflects my 2x2 acoustic ceiling tile. So that would be the first way of doing it. Now for our gypsum wallboard, we have to use a regen instead of detail lines because it's an actual pattern. So still within our annotate tab, click on filled regen right next to detailed line. And I am just going to use my rectangle and just follow the border that I have set. You could lock this in case you ever needed to change the shape of your square. And then from there, you can look in your properties and see if you have any gypsum already in the project right here. I'm having a difficult time locating one. Sand, although, might be the right option. So I'm going to hit sand and hit the green check, escape out, and that is how that looks. If you do not have sand appearing, it's like what we did, say, with our backsplash. You would just edit the type of whatever pattern you have in, and then duplicate it, and you could even name this GWB, gypsum wallboard, and hit OK. And then adjusting our foreground fill pattern. and then just locating the correct pattern that you used within your project. So for us, I believe we used sand dense. You may need to go back and check, and then you would just hit OK, OK again, and it is now added to the square. So that is how you add family component symbols and ceiling patterns to your reflected ceiling legend.